Hey guys, KingRazzel here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Mirror's Edge Catalyst. This game was released on June 7th, 2016, and is available for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. This game is also a prequel to the 2008 game Mirror's Edge, which I've personally never played, so this review will be coming from that perspective. As with my other reviews, I'll be judging this game based on its story, gameplay, and value. The story of the game begins with your character, Faith Connors, being released from prison. Once she's out, she meets up with a fellow runner named Icarus, who tells her that he's friends with Noah, a runner leader who's raised Faith after the death of her parents at the order of Gabriel Kruger. Faith returns to Noah, eager to get back into the running game and find a way to take down Kruger. From here, the story follows Faith as she runs the rooftops of the City of Glass, doing jobs for various allies such as Plastic, the teenage genius, Noah, her mentor, and Dogan, a shaky business associate. You'll also learn about Faith's past, her parents' involvement with Kruger, as well as her sister's fate. Personally, I found the story to be interesting, but for the most part incomplete. First of all, there's a lot of things that they never really explain, like why you're in prison in the first place, or who this Dogan fellow is, or even why you're in debt to him. I initially attributed my lack of knowledge in this matter to not having played the original game, but I came to find out that in order to learn these things, I actually would have had to read the tie-in comics Mirror's Edge Exordium, which I personally find to be a very poor decision on the developer's part. It gets you kind of confused right off the bat, and for someone who didn't even know there were tie-in comics to begin with, it kind of just alienated me from the situation. The characters, however, I found to be pretty enjoyable. You have Icarus, who's basically your rival who thinks of himself as the best runner around, Noah, a likable enough father figure, Plastic, who's your typical genius who doesn't quite understand social interactions, and even Kruger was interesting, even though you really don't get much information about him, other than, he's the bad guy and he killed your parents. Overall, I thought the story was interesting enough to make you want to see its conclusion, but not so interesting that I think I'll think about it much in the future. Gameplay is mostly focused around free running in the open world. You'll typically be given a location on the map and you'll run through the terrain guided by the game's runner vision, which will highlight a set path for you in red to follow. Typically, there's a lot of hurdling objects and running, but it feels much more engaging than that when you add in things like vaulting, sliding, and wall running. There's also further moves to be added to your free running arsenal as you progress throughout the game, adding in things like a grappling hook and skill roll, just to name a few. The second aspect of the game, which takes a backseat to free running, but is also still prevalent, is combat. In general, it's a good idea to stay away from combat. However, if you want to throw down, you certainly have the option to with two basic moves, light attacks and heavy attacks. The combat works best in a guerrilla warfare style, where hitting an enemy and then running away is your best bet to take them down. However, enemies are quite fast, so they don't give you many opportunities to do this, especially in set battles where your mobility is limited. Personally, I found the gameplay to be good, but lacking in key areas. First, let's talk about the running. I had a lot of fun at the start of the game running through the rooftops of the city. Movements were fluid, and the pacing in which you got your new equipment was done in a way that allowed you to get used to your current abilities before giving you new ones. However, about halfway to 3/4 of the way through the game, you'll begin to notice that the world isn't quite as big as you may think it is. You'll begin to trek back and forth through the same exact areas, and it just begins to get a little repetitive. Luckily, there's a fast travel mechanic if you do the grid node side missions, but personally, I saved most of the side missions until the end of the game, so this wasn't available to me. Second is the combat, and in my opinion, combat does not work very well in this game. As I stated, Faith's abilities are pretty limited in combat, so you always seem to be at a disadvantage. Enemies are almost as fast as you, some of them have guns, and to top it off, the stronger enemies can block your light attacks like they're nothing. As I stated, this would be fine if you could work out some sort of guerrilla strategy, but since enemies are always on your tail, it's usually pretty difficult to get away from them, especially in the enclosed areas. The value of the game is quite decent depending on what you're looking for. There's of course the main story of the game, which took me around 8 to 9 hours to complete, going through at my own pace, doing side missions every once in a while, and then working on collectibles. Then you have, on top of that, side missions such as dashes, where you'll run from one point to another just trying to get 3-star score, which is based on your time, and deliveries, in which you'll be given a set time frame to deliver a package from one person to the next. These added to the collectibles, which there are a lot of, give you quite a bit of gameplay if you're going for 100%. On top of that, you also have community challenges. These are races set up by different players in which you'll start in a location and follow a path set forward by another player in an attempt to beat their time on a set course. You can also create these courses should you wish, and these facets add even more gameplay if that's the type of thing you're into. Overall, I had a pretty good time with this game. Some things I didn't like about the game were the combat didn't function that great for me, the areas to run in got a little stale after a while, and the story didn't explain some things that I had questions on. Some things that I did like about the game were the characters were interesting enough to keep me intrigued, the running mechanics were very fun, and the abilities that you unlocked were fun to implement into your free running. I think I'm going to give this game a 7.5 out of 10, mainly because of the combat, which just detracted from the overall experience for me personally. Alright guys, that is all that I have to say on this game. I tried to look at it as fair and as just as I could, and this is where I landed on it. If you guys have played this game and want to share your thoughts in the comments below, then I'd love to hear them. The next game that I plan on doing a review for will probably be Umbrella Corps, depending on how quickly I can complete that game. And then I'll definitely be reviewing Mighty No. 9 next Monday. Both of those games come out tomorrow on the 21st, but next week I'll be focusing on Mighty No. 9 for like my multiplayer and my game trivia, and Umbrella Corps will just be a review. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in my next video.